They high-wheeled it out of town in the middle of the night. Find out who went missing on this week's episode of the Report Podcast. Episode 299 of arguably the worst independent league baseball podcast you've ever seen, but it is by far the most consistent in quality and release, and it's a lot like, I would say, Wendy's chili, where some people really like it, other people are disgusted by the fact that it exists, and no matter what, you occasionally wind up with a finger in it. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
I wasn't ready for it to land there. I'm good. I was going to say, I do love that, like, the most inconsistent posting indie ball account is mine, and the most consistent is yours. And it really exemplifies who the problem is in things when, like, you're the one in charge of, like, production and posting, and, like, you know, there's no, like, who's keeping it together? Is it because Ryan's, like, working really hard on the other podcast? No. It's all, I am just, like, I am way too busy on the time management skills of a grape, and it's just, like, it's a tough one.
Well, see, I like to view myself as, like, the Musk in this situation, where you're my emerald mine and I'm going to mine everything of value out of, and then leave you in that local community for dead once it's empty.
You're talking child labor right now? Seems. I mean,
that child was at least 10 years old. It's about time they got a job.
This is the Ron Swanson. Child labor laws are ruining this country.
Hey, look, I'm just using Jamestown colony rules. If you don't work, you don't eat.
A true libertarian political poppy right there.
We need more sawdust in the meat.
Right.
Children grew strong
to regulate dust. How much sawdust is in the bread.
In fact, these houses nowadays are too drifty. We need more asbestos in them.
Hope you like that green paint. It's gonna make it dizzy.
Can you tell we're recording on Black Friday?
Yeah, and we just lost our main topic for the week because, well, at least speaking for myself, I was not prepared for it. American Association preview next week, or a review next week?
I mean, we could, but we don't got too much else to talk about. We could do indie ball shopping. We just go onto each team's site and try to find the best deal available.
I think let's not do that.
Are you sure? Because right now the Canadian teams look like they're doing great sales. Although if you do order something, the Canada Post is currently on strike, which the Pinkertons could solve in 20 minutes. But that's going to mean that your orders are going to slowly get to you. So now you may not have them in time for, before I make the joke, I need to make sure that it's true. Never mind, Hanukkah begins on the same day as Christmas. So really, everybody's a little Christmassy this year. But
I do love that one Quebec hat, though. We're not going to do this. It's such a bad thing for an audio medium to have us just scrolling stores.
Unironically, though, that would have been a really good video to put up on Black Friday, where we're just going through and we're shopping and just pointing
just rating them. That would have been actually pretty good.
Just like, would I buy this?
I really like the hat, but it's only a youth hat on there. That sucks. Anyway.
I just like the fact that you could get one of these Quebec jerseys, assuming that it's listed in Canadian dollar on their website, for about $70.
I like the first hat's a trucker hat. Let's go. Ooh. All right. What do we got going on today, buddy?
Oh, so we got a California baseball team that has up and vanished in a puff of smoke and then reappeared about 30 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Would you like to guess which team that would be?
It wouldn't be a team that I've suggested. Just probably has to move ever since, even before last season, I think, started.
No, you would never talk nasty about a team like that. Suggesting in such vitriol that they would never work out on UC Davis's campus. And then you certainly would never double down on that once a Major League Baseball team moved not 15 minutes away from them.
Dude, so much.
In case you're wondering, we are talking about the Yolo Highwheels. They have moved to Yuba County, particularly Marysville, and will play in the historic Bryant Stadium. More details on the exact, details of the move in a second here, but we'll let Ryan say his piece first.
I don't even know what to say. Honestly, because I do think I've kind of talked it to death a little bit.
And talking to death again. Exhume the body
true.
and put it back in the grave.
That change had to happen. I mean, they weren't drawing anyway. I mean, the attendance was like really pitiful, like wasn't even listed.
Right? They could have been a sellout crowd and they didn't want to embarrass the rest of the league.
Well, here's the thing. I think they never wanted to put this team in Davis. That's just my suspicion, just based on the lack of marketing effort. I mean, we've talked about how this ownership doesn't necessarily seem profit driven right now, at least when it comes to running the team. So they needed a second team and they put it there, and then they did like little marketing, and it was just like weird. I think now I think this is a much more sensible option. I was talking about Marysville, I think this time last year as a possible spot.
Yeah.
I like that Marysville ballpark. It was sort of a standout for me among the Pecos League venues. Yes, they had to move. Makes sense to go there. I think it's far enough away where, you can get out of the shadow of whatever's going on with Oakland. And keep in mind, Oakland, the A's. Keep in mind, it's also, they're far enough away where I think you don't even consider the A's much of a competitor, because A's tickets look like they're going to be expensive, and they're slightly further away from this point. So I think it all makes sense. First of all, I love the Highwheels brand. Unfortunately, that doesn't really make sense anymore, but I guess let's keep it anyway.
Somebody just drop the high part and just go right to Wheelers.
Yeah, I guess.
I can see that being the marketing push.
Yeah.
Just like the Lancaster Stormers.
Yeah. It's all the cool kids are doing now. I'm trying to think through exactly how I feel about it. I guess it's fine. I mean, it was unfair to the players to play an empty ballpark. It made no sense for ownership. I mean, if you're going to have the second team out there that you own, you might as well try to make some sort of money off of it. Though I'm sure there's a cost benefit analysis going on of like, okay, how much will we put in money wise to this in order to try to get X number of money in? So that's a different balance they have to sort of figure out. But the Yuba Sutter branding is really bad. I think it's weird. There must be some sort of contract with the area where they had to do it the way, like there was like the weird dispute where like the Angels had like Los Angeles of Anaheim going for a while. I think
Los Angeles. Yeah, it was the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yes. Right. So
should have been the California Angels still. That was the best one by far.
I just got to assume that's because, I mean, even going from the Yolo Highwheelers to the Yuba Highwheelers would actually have been a really clean switch. It's just, yeah, it's odd. Yuba Sutter is a tough one. It gets really long on that name. Highwheelers works because Yolo is so short, but whatever. Every time I see Brian Carmel's dumb, desperate looking ass, I want to smack him upside the head. You can leave that in the podcast. And Mike Van Heis doing front office work for them is interesting and kind of a good sign in the middle of this weirdness. So, yeah.
I was going to say earlier when you said they're not really profit driven at this point, I was going to say that's because they're for Oakland. They're apparently not for Yolo, though. But
no, absolutely not. And not lost to me is putting a team somewhere and then immediately removing them and moving them to another spot. But we're not going to worry.
They're going to hold a forum, Ryan. They're going to hold a forum in Davis to talk to the local community and explain the move.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I kind of want to sit in and watch that just to see what he's got to say.
I mean, God, it doesn't really matter when you're that.
I know it doesn't matter, but I want to just see the hypocrisy come out.
I know. I just want to see him wriggle a little bit. Interesting to see Brian Carmel out there having to do that work rather than the other idiot. But
well, there's also a third idiot involved now, Lana Hatamiya. You got to add to the ownership group. It's in one of the articles I sent you, Ryan. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Be prepared.
I know. I just got to remember which one.
I believe he was involved in California state politics for a while, and was in the private sector for a hot minute. He's a Marysville native. He seems like he's the community roots guy. I don't really know much about him, to be quite blunt. Maybe he's good, maybe he's not. But to throw your lot in with these fellas, it does make me question. Yeah, I will certainly say that.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to take a slight detour here to look him up.
Whilst Ryan looks that up, I'm going to go ahead and just throw out a couple other details that were in the one article.
From UC Davis, which is funny. Sorry.
The city's going to pay $250,000 in stadium upgrades. It's just everything from player amenities to fan amenities to facility upgrades, things like that. They're also expecting another $500,000 from private sources. I don't know if that's going to be different investors, if they're going to include revenue from the actual team as private sources, if it's going to be more of their own money. I don't know what that's going to be. Maybe it's league money. Who knows? But it's just listed as private sources. So that's what that deal is. This is a 3-year agreement between the city and the team as well.
So I have a couple things that just crossed my radar. Marysville, where are they playing? They're at Bryant Field. So Marysville, the one thing this does signal is this is probably more of a long-term solution. Especially because the city is investing. The city has had baseball for a long while, and it does include a team called Yuba Sutter. So this is not like up until 2022. Like most recently, there were the Yuba Sutter Gold Sox, and then they became Marysville Drakes for a year, and then there we are. Yeah. So that's interesting. I think, that's a good sign for basically everyone involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marysville did always have the feel of being sort of sticking out in the Pecos League when they were there, because it just seemed like a different vibe. Again, I don't think Bryant Field is like, the class of California baseball or anything like that, but it stood out as being a higher potential, I guess, as a venue than like a lot of this Pecos League venues, if that tracks.
It's an actual stadium, so that puts ahead of like 10 stadiums that are just city parks with bleachers.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I feel on that one.
Tucson's kind of the same boat though, too, in the Pecos though.
Oh, I am. Wait. Tucson. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just Tucson's just a reach. You know what I mean? They're a reach for every league. So among the reachable leagues, and you're already in California, it just felt like Marysville made sense.
Throw a team in Southern California, throw a team in Tucson. Let's get this California West Coast division cooking.
The more questionable parking, I'll say. Another one of those setups. So I don't know about all that, but still better step than, even a couple Pioneer League teams, in my opinion. So we'll see. And the CM upgrades will hopefully help a bit.
Yep. Other things of note, apparently housing was part of the cause for the move. I'm not sure how much I believe that. They're saying they had issues with the California university system in regards to housing. Yeah, I imagine it's tougher. If they're planning on using like dorms and stuff, it's going to be a bit of an issue.
That's a mess because you can't move in
until the colleges
are out.
And you got to be out before the
colleges come out. Exactly right. And I'm sure I would bet finances were part of the issue too. So, yeah.
Also, the last little bit here, besides the fact that the Marysville Drakes are obviously done, their contract's up, they're out. Apparently, they were using ABS in the Pioneer League last year. I didn't realize
they used the challenge system. Yeah.
Yeah. I never the challenge system. I thought they meant it for just general balls and strikes too, beyond challenge system.
I don't know. I think they oversimplified that. I don't. Because they use a challenge system, why would you use ABS? And it's an either or. So I've always been watching games with the impression it was umpire decision with challenge system. I think they might have misspoke in that one article. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much all there is on that move. But that was on Friday. So a week ago, they announced that, which just felt kind of fitting that they get that done, because then they committed like what might be one of the most Pioneer League-ish moves by announcing the schedule at 2:00 on a Sunday.
I have something.
Yes.
It was not supposed to come out on Sunday.
Oh, yeah?
I have it on good authority. It was supposed to come out on Monday and was dropped early. And I think then they played catch up and fully announced.
That makes a lot more sense, because I was just checking through my emails and I saw the press release. I was like, what? Why is this now?
Yeah.
I was looking through the emails, like, this doesn't say do not for release or anything. So I was like, okay, then it's fair game.
So I was tracking a bit of the timing on this because I did find it fascinating. Let me see here. I made a note in my phone about it just because I thought it'd become relevant again. Here
How are
we
you
go.
so
Okay,
millennial, making notes on your phone as opposed to writing them down?
so, I mean, it was supposed to come out, I think, like on Monday, I think it was said.
Yeah, because more teams started posting them Monday, Tuesday.
Mhm. I mean, why would you do anything on that? I mean, just from logistics point for a front office, you want it while you have all your staff in the office, so you can do that. I would say, yeah, I think it got the press release either, I don't know if it's sent early or got leaked early, and then it hit because I got a link sent to me through like Our Sports Central.
Okay.
Fairly close to 2. They don't have an exact time of it being put out, but it was definitely in the afternoon. But I think they played catch up afterwards to be like, yeah, we're doing that, because there's no way they meant to do that. And I think I'd heard from other people in the league that the schedule is expected to drop on Monday. So that would add to that, unless there's the miscommunication could be coming my way, but it just doesn't make sense to drop that schedule the day they did.
Yeah, it was very odd for it to be released then, because I got that at 2:37. I got the press release sent to me.
Yeah, I think that's about what I had. And I was hearing rumors about it being up before that.
Yeah, I know I didn't see it on any of the socials before that. So
yeah, dude, weird for sure. Trying to think if there's anything else that stood out. I mean, how surprised are you that Noko's still there?
Extremely. That was probably the biggest surprise of it all. I mean, outside of just Noko and stuff, it's the same general schedule. May 20th to September 7th, 96 games, 2F system. First half ends on the 13th of July. And looks at the same playoff system. So that's all pretty stock standard. Just information wise, put that out there. Back to Noko now, which is far more interesting. I'm very stunned at Noko being there. They lost the soccer team. Everything else seems to be caving in around them at the Future Legends complex, and yet they survive. Like, I'm giving it plus 250 odds that they have to switch venues at some point in the year.
And I wouldn't be surprised to hear that the Pioneer League is somehow helping them float that team.
It would make a lot of sense. They were.
I mean, people might recall that the Atlantic League was for a while paying salaries for Gastonia players. So, yeah, it's definitely fascinating. I'm trying to think through. Yeah, I'm surprised. I think Pioneer League already had their hands full trying to make the move in California with Yuba. Hard to find a second team, especially a team, because you would like one. Hold on, I'm going to pull Pioneer League footprint again. Sorry, I'm working on one screen here, so there's a little more pausing because I'm in a different setup. But there we go. Okay. Yeah, because if you look at the footprint, like Noko is kind of one that can go. It is, it's nice for the Raptors, Jackalopes, and Vibes to have Noko there as sort of make a little pod for themselves. But we've talked about Wyoming being a possible market. I could see that. They could fill that gap in the same way, depending on where they end up.
You just need to know that you have enough people that are going to show up in Wyoming.
Right. I mean, not that people are flocking to Noko, but I mean,
it's more of a population base to work with.
Yeah, you're right. It's just, it is interesting to see. It sucks to see sort of the fall off of that organization from like what they could have been and what they had been in the past. The Provo to Orem to Noko fall off has been
noticeable,
to say the least. And I hate to say it, like, because I'm sensitive to like difficulties for front office personnel and like making things hard for them when you don't need to sucks. But I just have to put it out there. My opinion, if you're a player listening to this, is avoid Noko this year. It just, it doesn't seem like a good situation. So, unfortunately.
Unrelated to that, although I do agree with it. What always screws me when I look at a map is the fact that Nebraska is further north than Colorado.
Yeah, right. It throws you off. And then you see how much it snows in Nebraska. And you're like, tracks.
Yeah, and it's just like I always kind of just assume they're basically Kansas, and I always assume Kansas was basically like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, if you took away the lines on a map and you wanted me to draw where each state was, it'd be I probably would just make a line right where the Mississippi is and then stop where the Rockies are and go, I don't care about this spot in the middle.
Jesus.
They know what they've done. Exist.
I mean,
they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have existed. Put a team in Pullman, Washington.
I'm just like, I mean, Cheyenne is not that far north of NoCo, honestly.
Counterpoint.
What would that move be? That's fully conjecture. Like I have no idea what team in Cheyenne that's available, but I'm just interested. Yeah, I mean, 50-minute drive north. Just saying. If you want to go to Wyoming, get pro ball in Wyoming would be huge.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
I'm not saying huge as in like, oh, everyone's going to show up for that, but like, I think here's a weird one. When we discuss what indie ball brings to the table, I do feel things like putting a professional baseball team in a state like Wyoming is a valuable addition to the sport. That's what
I would agree with that. I just don't know, financially speaking, it is doable.
Yeah, I mean, fair. It depends on how hard the place goes for you. Like, if they're like, hey, like if they buy in too, like, wow, like, this is for us, like kind of thing. Like they really take ownership. But this is all hypothetical, so we don't need to go too far down that rabbit hole. But
exactly. Expansion talk always kind of starts to diverge.
Right.
But that being said, if we're open to doing college stadiums, I'm telling you, Pullman, Washington.
Yeah.
The Washington State University Cougars.
Cougs.
Which I never realized their logo was supposed to be a cougar for a while. It just kind of looked cool. And then I know it's like, oh, we got the W and the S in there for Washington State. And yeah.
Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what that travel looks like.
Because it does see 3,500. So that does fit the mold perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, here's where you run into something, though. I mean, what's the closest team? And then look, I know we already have a team in California, but I'm also like, I think that adds to the conversation of like,
Closest would probably be the Idaho teams. Because Kima is right on the border with Idaho.
Right. Hold on. We've got 5 hours to Glacier. And who is that? Probably Boise or Missoula.
Well, those are both the Montana teams.
Oh, here.
Well,
I was thinking
Missoula is 4 hours.
It's about 5.5 to Boise. So Missoula would be the closest team. It's 5.5 to Boise.
And to Idaho Falls, it is longer. That's surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. Idaho Falls is more south.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But yeah,
more east. Good Lord.
Rain is south.
Who's seriously putting currently?
It's wild. But I mean, I think you can maybe make it work. Okay, fine then. I'm willing to go ahead and say revive the Butte Copper Kings.
Ooh. Okay.
Now we're cooking.
I mean, the Montana team's kind of vibe.
The market that works.
I mean, they are like not too far off. Interesting. I don't know. Anyway, I do think.
Hold on, I'm cooking here.
Oh my god! And down the rabbit hole they go.
Because the problem was I have the GPS layer for Google Maps up right now, so I can actually see the landscape. And I found a college in town.
But does that help your summer population?
I don't know, but I do know that the Montana Tech team, their football team, is called the Ore Diggers.
Whoa. Careful there, boys.
Yeah. Wasn't that worth a detour now?
Maybe it was, or it wasn't.
Get this Leonard Field. That's just an open patch. I don't actually think they got a baseball stadium.
Let's see.
Oh, no, they do. There it is. Scron Field. But it doesn't have bleachers or anything. That's going to be a problem. It's a Little League field, but that's even a step too far. There's another, that's not park.
Right?
I don't know where, if at all, this place still exists. So here's what my suggestion is. We take some of this beat to hell land that is clearly a mining operation, and we put a stadium there because it's right on the back of the Rampart Mountain. You could probably redevelop a lot of this. You probably have to do some remediation, if we're being entirely honest. You mind on the damn thing. But we could expand out into East Butte. You slap a stadium down there to get people there. And you could build all around this.
I mean, I'm more on the mindset of, honestly, you could do Bozeman if you wanted to, and there was a location to put it there, because Billings, Bozeman, and Missoula are literally all on Route 90.
I was going to say, I feel like we talked about Bozeman before.
You could go Billings to Bozeman, Missoula to Glacier in 7 hours.
Montana State is there, and I have to imagine they got to have a baseball team, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. We should not be going down this rabbit hole. This is not good content, but who am I?
No, people love expansion talk.
I hope they say my town name. Zooming in slowly, trying to see if I can locate the baseball field.
Yeah, I see a soccer stadium.
A football stadium. I don't really know.
I see a lot of farmland. I see some golf courses, a different gym.
I don't think they have baseball, buddy.
Well, that kills that idea.
Basketball, track, cross country, skiing, rodeo, tennis, volleyball,
rodeo,
track, cross country, tennis, golf, rodeo, skiing. Dude, rodeo's huge out there, man. Huge.
If I speak,
one more thought on this topic. Dude, you don't knock it till you've gone to one, man. They're fun. I'll get you out to what's it? What do they have out there in Jersey? I forget. Damn. You got Cowtown Rodeo out there.
Where the hell is that?
It is in Piles Grove.
Where? What?
Piles Grove.
Piles Grove.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not even going to consider that real New Jersey. That's South Jersey. They're hicks down there.
Oh my God. So bad.
Oh, it's like Cumberland County. No, those people aren't real. They're not real people.
It's your listeners.
They're further south than Rowan. No, not real.
God.
I call them basically Philly, but they're not even that close to Philly.
Let me see here.
The only part of South Jersey that should exist is on Route 9. If I can't get to you via Route 9, then I'm sorry. You're not real, and I don't care to know your existence. For a small state, we're very polarizing.
Never hear any talk about Helena. They literally had a Brewers affiliate for a while.
There's a reason they lost the Brewers affiliate.
Yeah, but reason Pioneer League lost all their affiliation. Glass houses there, Helena. Beautiful view from the place, honestly. I don't know. Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Yes. How would a place like North Platte make sense in Nebraska?
I think they have I could have sworn they have a team, maybe in the Pecos.
I thought it was like a college team.
Yeah, North Platte 80s. That was their first year in the Pecos this year.
Their stadium worth a damn?
I'm figuring that out right now. Let's see. Oh, shit. I don't know. We're going to find out.
What a team in Dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's a real place. Dinosaur.
No, the ballpark is not worth what we're talking about.
Okay.
Good God.
My God, Dinosaur is ripe for a team. It is a thriving metropolis of 243 people. It has no green space whatsoever, but it has, at least on initial count, 3 different dispensaries.
Dude, there's a really long history of that ballpark in North Platte, though. Interesting.
Oh, there's plenty of land in Dinosaur to build this thing, too. I'm going to start
the that'll happen.
Let's get Dinosaur a team.
Oh, my God.
The Dinosaur Paleontologists. Let's make it happen, boys.
All right, what are we up to here? We got to move on from this conversation because I'm going to keep going down this rabbit hole into like the geography of the area, which we don't necessarily need.
Yes, so that's pretty much the only worthy note of this schedule release. It was released at an odd time. NOCO is still here for now. Everything else, pretty stock and standard. I know I personally don't really dig into schedules all that much. Sometimes it's interesting the way the travel works out and what they try to make matchup wise, but generally speaking, I find them largely uninteresting.
Since we did just sort of touch base on the Pecos real quick, I do have a quick note I want to throw out in the news conversation.
Go for it.
The Alpine Cowboys announced they have a new manager. The new manager is Lance Myers. However, I always want to mention he's taken over for Sean Persky, and Persky was like he managed the hell out of this team, man. So I heard a lot of good things about him. I don't know what he's doing next, but I'm definitely sort of trying to figure that out. But he managed them for I think 5 seasons, 2019 through 2024. No season 2020. Yeah, my math checks out. Okay. Won 2 titles, 3 division titles. Managed the All-Star game like almost every season, and then has said his record overall was 198 and 85 while managing the team. Alpine I find fascinating because Alpine's independently run, which is totally different than almost every Pecos League team. Most of them are owned by the league. So it's funny to watch them kind of operate in a way where they have to sort of navigate that environment with like the complications that come with it. And they do a really good job. They had like one down year last year, but then this year bounced back and they went 45-4 this year on their way to a championship in a season that featured 12 wins and then a loss, 16 wins, then a loss, 4 wins, a loss, 5 wins, a loss, 1 loss. After that loss, then it was 8 wins. And that was how they ended up at 42-9. And then they took it to the playoffs where they went 6-1. So like we don't talk a lot of Pecos League here. There's reasons for that. I'm going to do a Pecos League deep dive on my stuff shortly. I'm putting together their postseason awards, but they it is of note. I think there's not a ton of organizations that are overly worth looking at in the Pecos in a year-to-year basis, but Alpine's always caught my eye as being independently run. Sean's done a great job and in less than ideal conditions. So I'm hoping he's going somewhere bigger and better because he would deserve it. Promoted 42 players to higher leagues, by the way, over the course of his time in Alpine, which is pretty crazy.
Impressive. Can Alpine move up?
What's up?
Can Alpine move up?
From where they are, I don't believe so. They are in Texas, which means they're basically limited to like probably a jump to the American, and that's just not the caliber of ballpark they're in. And like so I've talked a little bit to people from there, and like it's a town of 1,400 people. A ton of them are involved in the team, like from a housing perspective. A ton of them are going to the games. Like it's just a very different thing that I think could only really operate the way it does in Alpine, Texas, rather. Hold on real quick because I might have the population numbers off for Alpine, Texas.
6,000.
Population is, yes, right. The ballpark holds 1,400. The population 6,000. Still, though, pretty crazy. So, but yeah, they are an organization I always keep an eye on. I think they're just absolutely fascinating.
Wow. So what you're telling me is we should consider Medicine Hat as a viable expansion point then?
Medicine Hat. Oh my God. I don't know about all that then. I mean, it's kind of a vibe. I love an obscure Canadian town getting a baseball team, but I'm not necessarily sure.
How could an obscure town in Canada exist if they have a WHL team?
Fair enough.
Medicine Hat Tigers, boys. Let's get it.
Oh, God.
You're going to tell me Prince Albert's a rare town, even though they have the Raiders.
Medicine Hat. Yeah. Got it. What, Laney McDonald played there? Anyway, different conversation. They do have a summer collegiate team, Medicine Hat, formerly the Medicine Hat Blue Jays.
Isn't that interesting? And in case anyone's wondering, Willie Desjardins coaches there now. That's interesting.
Medicine Hat Mavericks.
My first thought from Medicine Hat and the Tigers was Hunter Shankaruk.
I got to say, by the way, their ballpark's kind of fine. Though it is just called Athletic Park, which is, interesting.
Make it happened. Also, Lanny McDonald, I don't believe, played there. Now, Rob Niedermeyer did. No, he did. My mistake. You see him right there.
Yeah.
He was listed under a different category.
Oh,
My bad.
Honestly, kind of a vibey ballpark. I'd support it.
Medicine Hat boys. That's what we're looking for here. Murdoch played there too? Okay, yeah. I'm more and more on team Medicine Hat.
There you go. I'm fine.
Medicine Hat, Medicine Hat, Medicine Hat, Medicine Hat.
Oh my God. Okay, what are we doing here?
Talking about Medicine Hat, but we're also
stop listening, and I'm on the host.
We got one last thing to talk about, and that is the Bird Dawgs staff. Because they've added TJ White to their staff as a hitting coach. He played 5 years in the Twin System, 4 years in Quebec, a back-to-back champion. He was also a player coach there during his time. And I got to say, I've only heard positive things about this move so far. Everybody seems to like this move.
Yeah, same. Same as I like it, and same as only hearing positivity about it. Yeah, dude. I mean, TJ White's a dog, first of all, like real grinder, man. Like, love him, dude. I mean, he was putting up numbers and getting it done in Quebec forever. You trust the Quebec pipeline on things. Yeah, man. I think, that's a good sign. Add some experience, somebody who really knows the way around and knows people. Like, I think it's a great move. Yeah,
I can't speak highly enough about it. I think he's a guy who knows how to win. He knows what it takes to succeed in both the Frontier and Can-Am. So he has that experience there. The Scalabrini coaching tree is something we may start to see pop up.
Right.
And I'm willing to roll the dice on it. I think he is a nice add too, because he has the coaching experience, and Wellman's going to be an experienced manager. And so if for nothing else, he's going to help with that player procurement and player management side of things, which is a very critical role that no one talks about. And overall, I think he's a nice add there. And at the same point, I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to really keep you looking over your shoulder if you're Wellman. I don't think he's a guy that's going to step in as a manager like you would if you were to get a more experienced guy, like say maybe a Billy Horn in there, where it's like, okay, like, yeah, I'm the manager, but like if it doesn't work out, there's another guy that can manage in this league that's right next to me.
Yes, I agree. And from what I hear as well, TJ White's a really good clubhouse fit. Like the guys like
with the boys.
And that's really important when this could be rough. You know what I mean? Like there could be some growing pains. Year one, new city for indie ball. Shake my head at what you're doing, but I think as you scroll the Medicine Hat store, I just think it's a good move from perspective of a guy who can, one, help sort of navigate around some of the potential hiccups, but also one who can kind of keep the guys together, hopefully, and be good with keeping morale and everyone focused when, you do hit potential speed bumps along the way here in their first year in indie ball.
100% agree, but that's a fire hat right there.
Yeah, I agree. Good hat.
$30 Canadian.
Oh boy.
Tempting. But yes, I 100% agree with that. He's the kind of guy that you wanted to start, and he's going to work out well. This is a really solid hire. Normally, I don't like to get too worked up about, bench coach roles, essentially, hitting coach and pitching coach and things like that, because how much of an effect are they really going to have? But
right
in the beginning, I think having that staff in place really matters, and I do like the move a lot on that front.
Even if it's not even if it isn't like, oh wow, he brings so much, you know what I mean? TJ White, you can be fairly confident, isn't going to be a mess. Like, because we've seen before where it's not even having a guy who's a standout. It's not having Gastonia with Reggie in year one as a pitching coach.
Yes.
It is avoiding dumpster fires. And TJ certainly, he's experienced. He knows how good organizations operate. So, yeah, I think it's great.
Exactly. Yeah. I will say one thing that's very interesting. The Bird Dawgs and Mud Monsters have not been added to the Frontier League website. You can't find links to their website. And I'm trying to find their website, the Bird Dawg website, and I'm not. Like, you have to explicitly look up Down East Bird Dawgs website to find it. There's nothing really here. It's just a landing page at the moment.
Using Well, do you have anything else on that?
No, that's it.
Since we're basically low on this, I'll throw this question to you.
Yes.
Using the outline from Backyard Baseball, because I was playing it last night and they got the new game sort of reboots coming out, where you can pick as your descriptor of a team: blue, red, crazy, white, green, little, mighty, super duper, humongous, and junior. And then you can pick any of the team names like Melonheads, Wombats, Hornets, Rockets, Sox, Monsters, Bombers, All-Stars, Giants, Fishes. What would you name your Medicine Hat team, buddy?
Medicine Hat Junior Giants does sound kind of cool.
Ooh, that kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Junior Giants is really good. Medicine Hat Junior Giants.
I think I'm gonna keep Junior Giants. I think that's the way to do this.
Yeah, man. Mighty Monsters is a good one.
Medicine Hat Mighty Monsters. That's a lot of alliteration, though.
Medicine Hat Mighty Monsters. Junior Giants is right there with that too. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but like I'm talking when you include Medicine Hat, there's a lot.
Medicine Hat Mighty Monsters. I understand. You're right.
Yeah. At a certain point, it sounds like you're a dog eating peanut butter.
Talladega Energy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which, by the way, the Mud Monsters do have a website up. You can buy tickets and you can buy merch, and that's about it.
They still don't have anything announced, really, about how they're going to run, huh?
Not really. You take a look at their merch.
Yeah, I did. I remember being on the site. I was on the site a couple weeks ago, I think.
Am I wrong to be kind of disappointed in it so far?
No, you're not. I mean, it does feel like just print on stuff.
Yeah, it feels very low effort. Even the designs, it's like...
It does make me wonder what's going on there, especially the lack of announcements about how this is going to run.
Yeah, very SB shop vibe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a little
I want to buy something. It's
Kinston definitely seems a little more checked in here mentality wise.
Yeah. It's like I want to buy something from these guys, but like at the same time, I'm not just going to buy something shitty when it's $30.
Fair.
I'll buy something shitty cheap, but
yeah, let's see. But do the Bird Dawgs not have a
Bird Dawgs don't have anything?
Damn. Come on, y'all. Come on now. Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm a little worried about that. I don't know. I'm trying to think if anything else came up this week. I'm just really chilling. Sorry for the slow week here, but we'll get the American Association recap done next week.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think
probably American Association awards in the meantime. Just did my Atlantic League ones.
How'd that go for you?
So far so good. No one really complaining. I mean, the only one that really killed me was not including Matt McDermott, who I'm a big fan of, but he just kind of lost out. Really competitive, man. A lot of good outfielders in the league. Kind of slips by. Yeah. Nothing too crazy. Again, the main one that I questioned was, I guess, Staten Island. My guess is, as I mentioned pre-show, that teams get to select basically what position guys are available at for award voting, because like Luis Castro is named as a DH on the Atlantic League postseason awards from the league, and my guy played 95 games and played in the field for 93 of them, which is notably not what a designated hitter is. So interesting. But other than that, I actually lined up quite a bit with the Atlantic League on awards. I mean, I had the same catcher as them. I think I had the same first baseman as them, except I also had the same DH as them, who is a first baseman in my book, Luis Castro. Had the same second baseman as them, same third base, and then completely different on shortstop, which is classic. So, business as usual.
All right. Being that we got a second here, I just want to run through some of the off-season ideas we still had, just to give a sneak preview to some of the stuff we got coming in.
Hell yeah,
man. Came up with anything else I want to write down the book so I don't forget.
Oh, and the Q&A too.
Yep, we have the Q&A. That's obvious. That's actually about a month from now. This will be November 30th. So Q&A probably is going to be around either 21 or 20, probably call it 28. Let's give it a full month to get Q&A questions in. So really start loading up on the Q&A questions. Send them in so that we can start writing them down. Mentioned it previously earlier this month, but I don't really expect you to get the same questions in 2 months in advance. But now would be a great time to start sending them in so they can get written down and answered. earlier is better because if it's a more complex question, it requires more work to get you a good answer. You send a complex question in on like the 15th and the thing comes out on the 21st, like it's going to be a bad answer. I got news for you. What if it's a complex thing that requires like 5 different people to answer? It's like, okay, well, you're asking me in the middle of the holiday season to get people to answer me. That's not going to happen. So Q&A is one of them. That's every year. Gary Rebuild, we still have on the docket.
Right.
Actual deep dive on that one, which I'd like to actually try to rebuild it, like full on pick players and everything, and then throw that team into like out the park baseball. See how that works.
Agreed.
Honestly, the way to do that is we come up with everything, do all that on the pod, and then we either do an out the park live stream or do a separate video on your channel where we go through the season and see how it plays out.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. We'll see. We'll have to figure out the vibe on it. Maybe we'll get some feedback from people on what we should do, but I agree completely.
Yep. We also have a retrospective on all the cut MILB teams. So we'll go back through the list of every team that got cut and see if their decision to either go to indie ball, close up shop, or go to college ball paid off, and who would get moved around where for a better result if they're not in the best situation there. Also have an expansion market episode. So go through markets that were good for expansion teams. That would be a long one. And if you're into the expansion talk, as about as perfect of one as you could possibly ask for. There is now a dog on screen. Phenomenal. Love it. Not wearing a jacket, though. I'm still very happy.
He's been laying in the sun, so he's been staying warm.
Okay, very good. We also have a Frontier League expansion draft episode. So I'll have to come up with expansion draft rules.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to. Oh, let's see. I'll dig into some sources. I think I know who can help us out with that.
Perfect. Because I would love to do like a legit like major sport league expansion draft and an indie ball league. And the Frontier League seems like the best one to try it with just because, well, rapid expansion over there. Plus there's more teams to pick from. Oh, tired puppy. Just yawned. And then the last thing I've written down here is deal or no deal.
Oh, okay. So
I saw this idea on YouTube Shorts and I kind of want to expand it here, which is essentially you pick a field of players and then kind of like deal or no deal, you pick a case that has a player in it. And then you go through and you see, do you want to stick with your player or take a banker offer for a different player? So like, let's say it's all Frontier League outfielders. And so we'll get like, we won't do a full on 25 because that'd be crazy long to do, but we'll pick like, say, 12 of them. You pick one of the 12. That's your player, but you don't know who the player is. So, a number 1 through 12. And then we'll go through, say, 3 rounds where like the first round you pick 4, the second round you pick 3, and then there'd be, I guess, 4 left. So you pick another 3 in round 3, and then like deal or no deal works. After the first round, you get an offer like, okay, we will give you this player in exchange for whatever your mystery player is. And then rinse and repeat after this last 2 rounds. There's 1 left at the end, and you can choose to swap at the end or keep with the guy you've been riding with. And then in the end, we see, should you have taken one of those offers or switched, or did you make the right decision keeping with your guy?
I'm cool with that. I'm on board. And then once the season comes around, we'll maybe talk about how we can do a weekly fantasy thing between you and I, fantasy teams.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to do a fantasy thing at some point. And then obviously we have interviews, which, I have to get back to the one guy.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
We got a date out there, but we'll work on that this week.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. And then we got American Association recap coming this week.
Yeah. For the first week.
Well, next week, rather. Yeah.
Should be out on the 7th.
For episode 300, baby.
Yeah. So that would be nice. That'll be kind of fun. Yeah. So that's kind of what the look forward is. I'm sure we'll come with some other ideas. And if you have other ideas, submit those, and obviously submit questions. You could do so through the social medias, which is a great segue into the plugs. At IndieBallPod on Twitter, IndieBall Report literally everywhere else. And if you want to email a question because it's lengthy and you're easier to type on a keyboard than through social media for some reason, I don't know. I don't really care. Go that route. IndieBallReport@gmail.com.
Sounds good, man. I like it.
Yep. On your end, plugs.
Indie Nation on everything. I'm dropping award stuff. I'm dropping all sorts of random content this week. Hopefully dropping my true crime episode, but being reviewed by a lawyer, which I didn't expect. There are too many people still like alive. So I didn't think about it. I was like, well, this could be a lawsuit. So maybe be careful.
You want the Yuba County 9 reference there, Yuba County 5 reference there. On the episode, you're announcing, hey, look, my true crime thing's coming out.
Right. I know.
True crime, we end with true crime.
Right. Exactly. And possibly legal trouble. We'll see.
So
you keep that boy on retainer, baby.
Yeah. Anything else coming up soon?
Getting back to doing sort of game by game, watching back through the 2024 season, which is fun. I just want to get the awards done before I did that, but yeah, that'll be the big thing.
Yeah. That's all on the Instagram.
Yeah, it's on Instagram. YouTube, we're gonna start doing some more like discussion of just indie ball nonsense, but like right now it's been kind of slow and not focused on that. So I'm trying to do a couple things well rather than too many things not well. So I'm sort of taking my time.
Good job, Ron Swanson.
Don't half-ass two things, whole ass one thing.
Exactly right. So holiday week episode, that's how you could tell there wasn't too much going on, but Wednesday, Thursday, and now today are all going to be dead days for news. So you got 3 days really to talk about stuff or get stuff to pop up. So that's the way it works. We're back with the American Association look back or review next week, and a bunch more coming in December and throughout the offseason. But until then, don't forget to play